tried to kill me when I was a kid. Like a lot of stuff, and it's just like I don't know, man. I don't feel welcome, even though I'm grateful for everything they did for me. But it's like when I needed them the most, they had turned their back on me.
Yeah.
You know, my real mother and father had done the same thing to me. So it was really like a surprise, but it's like at the same time, it's nothing new.
Right.
I'd already dealt with this before. So when I was a kid, I lived on the street. I was homeless as a kid. So
you've been dealing with this
for a long time, yeah. So
not anymore.
No, now like 2012, 2013, I've been going back and forth because I had found this woman when I was 18 before I had actually became homeless, and I got her pregnant, and she actually had died carrying the kid. She was epileptic and she had a seizure, and they killed her and the kid, and I was never able to make it down there to the funeral.
Meet Justin. He is a success story. After being homeless for years, he has a home of his own. The product of his own diligence and hard work, he hustles his art on the street, then goes home every night to a warm bed. His story is the exception among the other stories in the homeless culture. This is the Homeless Culture Podcast, and I am your host, Vince Jones. The homeless culture will explore the personal stories, daily lives, and survival of the homeless in Uptown Charlotte. The homeless culture will also bring to you the views and opinions of city officials, business owners, and residents of the Central Charlotte area. This is an unbiased, raw, and uncensored journey into the homeless culture. Now let's hear more of Justin's story and his experiences in the homeless culture. I asked Justin about the general public's opinion of the homeless and his experiences with the public while he was homeless. This is what he had to say.
People are very big-headed. They look down on people all the time. They don't.
Right.
Like, I've seen a grown man on the bench crying just because nobody even wanted to notice he was human.
Yeah.
They look at him like, oh, get away from me, you a scumbag, you hobo,
right.
You know, like, but we're humans, we're all human. The CEO of the bank, if say they bank something horrible happened and they all lost their 401ks and everything, this situation can happen to anyone. No one is immune. A
lot of people are one paycheck away from that. You know what I mean? They live it real thin.
Yeah,
and it could happen to anybody. You're right.
I mean, it's sad, man. People don't realize that everyone is the same. Like when I was out there, I was somebody baby. I was somebody kid. You know, like these people that are out here, I can't say that for some people it's a choice. Some people enjoy it, which I don't know how because I never enjoyed it.
So how did Justin get here? What happened in his life that thrust him into the homeless world?
Rapping going, man.
There you go.
Oh, he got you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, the rap is still going good, man. How's yours?
Man, just trying to get a freestyle down pack and shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, but I'm getting.
All right, man.
All right.
All Starbucks was open. They was closed this morning. Now they open. When I was born, my mother was an addict. She was on dope. I was born in '88, and my mother would go out, do drugs, and not be there for me and my brother. And so one day they got arrested. My family got arrested, and we got sent to an orphanage. I went from home to home. Finally, I found one place. They adopted me.
Where was this, in Charlotte?
It was Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
The orphanage was in Birmingham. And my family basically had, you know, like, they were good at first, but they were new parents. They didn't know what they were doing. But I stayed with them for a while, and they buy things, but they wouldn't take the time to know me.
Right.
You know, and that's not even that important. Like, but as that went on, I was just like, you know, I want to get away from here. I want to be my own person. I want to be independent. So at 15, they sent me to a group home. From there, I wound up getting in trouble with the law a couple of times, fighting and stuff like that.
How long ago was this when it all started?
probably 16.
Yeah.
But I was mad because my family had held me away from my little brother. They kept my brother out of my life. I ain't got none, buddy. They kept my family, my only family, away from me. So I held regret. You know what I'm saying. I held resentment towards them for that. And but then people would bully me in school. I was always the type the way I wouldn't let things bother me. But eventually, like, I get in fights. I started fighting back eventually. And then, especially in the group home, I liked the group home because we were all close. Like, everybody was close. And it was like I had a brother. Yeah. Even though they weren't my relatives or anything. It was almost like it was family.
It's just like out here on the street.
Definitely.
You develop relationships, right?
Yeah. Huh? Oh, I'm in the middle of something. I'm doing an interview. Sorry. But, even so, like, and then I was in the group home for about 3 years. And as this went on, I finally wound up homeless. My family didn't care. They didn't want to be there for me. They lived 30 minutes away, but they just turned their back on me, and that made me not even want to be around them even more. To this very day, I go home, I feel like I don't belong, like I'm a stranger.
Still.
Yeah, don't feel welcome. So,
So what caused all that? What caused all the animosity in the family with you? Was it?
Maybe if they had let me see my brother and kept my family near me, because I recently linked back up with my brother the past 2 years. A co-worker I was working at found my brother on Facebook and gave him his number, told him he found me. Mm-hmm. And but they had told me I was like 14, 13, something like that. They was like, well, your grades aren't good enough for us to waste the gas money to go see your brother.
Wow.
And as the years passed, I really hated them for that. Finally, I brought it up to my brother like a couple, maybe last year sometime. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nah, they said you were stabbed a teacher and went to juvie, which is a total lie. Cause
none of it was true.
Nah, I didn't start going to jail till after I was out the house.
That's just what they told him.
Yeah. And see, I found out the reason behind it is the fact that whenever you adopt a kid, no matter your financial situation or anything, there is money provided for that kid. And my brother had 50 or 60 G's saved up by the time he was 18. My parents used every bit of that money for their own thing. Wow. My family was never hurting. Shoot, my dad drew out the plans for this Bank of America building right here. Wow. My dad's and then, you know how, when you're a young parent, you don't necessarily know what you're doing. But, he was really aggressive. He was really mean. I struggled with math, and we'd be sitting there doing math work, and his method, he'd grab on my ear and pull it, but he'd grab it till it bled. I go to school with bloody earlobes and stuff like that. And, I love the man still to this day, but it's I'm starting not to even care.
When's the last time you talked to your family? To your mom and dad?
I talked to them around Christmas time, telling them I wouldn't be able to make it because they didn't want to give me the money to get home for Christmas. They live in Raleigh now. They don't live here anymore. Right. But, and even so, you know how they say Facebook connects everybody, stuff like that. I looked on my family's page, and all they have is pictures of my little brother, my little sister. They don't have no pictures of me.
So it's like you don't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
basically. Yeah, it's like I'm the child they never wanted. I mean, it's like anybody that ever says they really want to be there for me is, in the end, just going to run off and not come back.
Right.
You
All right, so you've been doing the rapping thing.
I always...
Ever since I met you the first time.
Yeah. And when I first started rapping, it was more just sound good, Southern hip-hop. Mm-hmm. But I've branched out now into talking about events and real life. I've grown.
Where are you going to record?
I have my own little house.
You got your own thing going on?
Yeah, I have my own little house studio. When I was homeless, I had a studio. Every day I get money, I go straight to the studio. I go straight there, record, make a product, sell that, keep going back and forth to the studio.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing for money now that you got a place?
Selling my CDs still.
Really?
I mean, I have 2 kids now.
Yeah.
And it's by the same woman, but even though the kids are not genetically mine, I want to right the wrongs in my life. I don't want to have them with no father.
Well, for people that hear this broadcast,
Yeah.
where can they get your music?
Uptown, trying to Fish Street.
Okay. So you got it anywhere in media?
You can find me on YouTube. Type in Manok, MANOK, space, $ space, ROE, and that's my YouTube channel.
Well, that is Justin's story. We took a few moments to talk about some other people that we both know that are on the streets right now.
Will used to be a teacher at John C. Smith. He was a professor for physics. He used to teach there. He had a wife that he loved a whole lot. One day, I don't know how she died. I think she got sick with some disease.
That's what I heard.
She started getting real sick. He had a house, a car, all this stuff. Anyway, his wife wound up dying, and he gave up. He just totally gave up on life completely. He left his house, roamed the streets, developed into what he is today.
I've actually known Will for several years now, and I hope to interview him in a future episode. And right after that discussion with Justin, he brought up someone that he doesn't care for that lives on the streets. His anger began to show through. So I must warn you that what follows is very graphic and contains adult and offensive language.
There's one woman I really can't stand. The woman that has the one leg,
and the dog.
And the dog.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, a year ago, about the same time as this, I was woken up, and I'm just woken up. You see how the signs are out here in front of these buildings?
Right.
She walked over there, started knocking them down, intentionally taking them down.
She don't like the United States. She hates it here.
She's from Russia. Her name's Tatiana.
Okay.
But why don't you go back to your country then if you don't
Let
like
me tell my story. So she walking over here, she started knocking down the signs. So me, being a good guy, I picked the signs back up. She keep pushing them down. And the police that was over here finally walk over here and just like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get the fuck out of here. And it's like, he ain't putting this sign down, all this shit. So anyway, after this, she started hating me. Anytime she sees somebody on the bench, she be like, get off my bench. This is my bench. Get the fuck out of here. The police come up to her. She be like, get out, you piece of shit, go away. Talk to the police like that. But she'll stay out here and beg for money. Now, not too long after this, I was over here and she was pulling up tulips in front of that building, the Hearst Tower. Mm-hmm. And she called me a nigga and she called my daughter a nigga. I about punched her in the face. I really wanted to, like, real bad. Yeah. Because she would harass me. She would literally chase me up the street. Anyway, but this woman will sit out here, get pity from people, get 20s and 20s and 20s. But I was at Woody's and I saw her walk in, grab a big old case of beer. And then right before that, I saw her go to the dope man. She smoked crack and weed and joint.
Where'd she stay?
I don't know. I really don't care. I really can't stand that. So we should just get the fuck out of here.
So there's no doubt about Justin's opinions and feelings for Tatiana. While we were having the discussion about Tatiana, Justin introduced me to someone else that is homeless. Her name is Rebecca. Rebecca has a very interesting story too. Rebecca was very eager to share her past and daily struggle to survive.
He knows my story. That's why he introduced you to me. Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Well, my name is Rebecca Welder. When I was 15 years old, I got kidnapped. I was held captive for almost 15 years. My family just found me. That's why I'm in Charlotte. I'm homeless and disabled. I have mental and physical disability due to the kidnapping, and the government's not trying to give me my money. I have no address, and I don't know how to read. I don't have any agencies out here that'll help me because I'm not from here. And
where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
My family just found me, so